So good morning. Today's video, a little bit different, kind of a vloggy style video, and that's by request. The good chaps, Maz and Rog over at Garage Therapy, sent me a couple of products to test. They are prototypes for their new ceramic spray protection products. In fact, I've got them over here somewhere actually. I'm going to take them across. Here they are. So this one I'm going to call Looks Like Wee, because it kind of looks like wee, right? And the other one is called Looks Like Milk. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Anyway, and I've been slapping up my stickers. See, look, I'm throwing up some stickers. There's the coveted Specky sticker that you might see on some of your favorite YouTubers' channels. Some 26JPN slap stickers that came with some of the stuff they've sent me. Connor sent me his ticket there, his sticker. So anyway, I'm going off now. I'm not going to use my car. My car, if you've watched my videos recently, you'll know I've been using the Turtle Wax hybrid ceramic lineup of products. The Hybrid Solutions ceramic lineup of products. My car is still covered with those. I'm still testing the other three, so that's coming later. But because that's already on there, I don't want to remove it. I don't want to do anything to it. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to take my car up to my dad's and I'm going to pick up his Mercedes E-Class. You'll have seen that on the channel before. I'm going to take it back down here. We're going to clean that car properly because I think it probably needs it. I don't know what kind of condition it's in right now. And then we're going to test the two products side by side on the bonnet and possibly the rest of the car, depending on how quick and easy it is to use. So let's go. But of course, it is not a vlog style video without having footage of that person vlogging doing some driving. So here I am. So I've got a short drive, just 3 miles up the road, to go and pick up the Mercedes and take it back down to the house and give it a good look. I'll tell you something, it might look sunny out here today, but it is absolutely Baltic. It is so cold, my fingers are frozen, and yeah, I'm loving the sun. I can feel the heat from the sun, but it's not warming anything up yet. Hopefully it'll warm up a bit later on, because I'm not entirely sure how the temperature will affect the products I'm going to be testing today. Cold weather is not always ideal. So bright. So I have the E-Class. I am on the way back to the house now to check out the condition of the car, because I didn't really look at it properly up at my dad's. So we're going to take it down to the house and have a look around, see how much cleaning needs doing, and then get busy with the preparation of the panels to make sure that it's as clean as it can possibly be before testing the ceramic coating products. Alright, so here's the car, and let's have a quick look at the condition of it. Now, I expected it to actually be dirtier, but he did tell me that he put the car through a car wash, which I'm not particularly happy with, because, you know, I want to look after the car. So it's not terrible, but you can see there is certainly countryside road grime. Those tires look awful. I'm guessing that's maybe road salt. And too much sun there. Yeah, it's kind of filthy there, kind of filthy. Front arch is, yes, definitely filthy. So I'm gonna have to clean these wheels, the tires. There's some muck under the sill there. Yeah, this is not looking the nicest, but the bonnet's not bad. The bonnet's relatively clean. Getting up close though, yeah, you can see all the grime there. Hello. So yeah, need to take care of this thing. Get it. Oh. Okay, no, this side is much worse. Oh, that's awful. That's really awful. Okay, this is going to be fun. I'm going to get this thing cleaned up as best I can with a variety of products, which I will show you as we go through the video. Oh dear, dear, dear. all that muddy water running off the car there, just by using water, I have knocked off loads of dirt. Loads of dirt has come off there, and there's more to come. Alright, so the car has now been fully washed and the bonnet has been fully decontaminated. So that's tar remover, iron fallout remover and clay. So there's nothing left on that panel at all now. Now they do say that for even better results, use an abrasive polish. I'm not going to go as far as that because I just haven't got the time to do it right now. So I'm just going for the full clean and decontamination. I know there's nothing else left on that panel because the panel flooded with water, so there's no protection at all. Now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to separate the bonnet with tape. I'm just going to guesstimate the protection. I may actually even leave a little strip in the middle between the two sections where I don't apply any product. So they do say to use a high quality microfiber applicator. In this case I have this microfiber-ish thing. You'll get that if you follow me on Instagram. By the way, follow me on Instagram. But yeah, got these cheap Chinese microfiber sponge applicator blocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use one side for each product. I'm also going to grab some clean microfibers. I'm going to use two. One for the initial wipe down and then a second for a final buff just to make sure there's no remaining residue. The idea with these products is that they are going to be a quick to apply product. They are high in SiO2, so they do say it might be a bit sticky when you apply it. I'll figure that out how it feels as we go, but then it has to be only left for 30 to 60 seconds before buffing off and removing the excess, and then a final wipe after. So let me grab a couple of microfibers and then we'll get going with the application. Okay, here we go then. So I don't know if it needs to be shaken. We'll give it a shake anyway. It's very clear, this one. So there we go. So like that, and we'll apply. Alright, and I'm going to think that's about 60 seconds from doing the top half. So we'll go with the short pile to remove. And then swap to the plush. Alright, it did feel slicker than before applying it. Let me just feel here. Yeah, this doesn't feel like it has anything on it, but that does feel like there's something on there. Although I did find that the product does travel quite well. This is a very big bonnet. If I was to compare this to my Kia, you know, this is twice the size of my Kia's bonnet. So spray, you know, comparatively, you know, figure out the best amount. I put 4 sprays on there and it was just tailing off. It was traveling all the way down the bonnet, but it was just tailing off at the end. So there may not be quite as much at the bottom there. However, they also say that you can leave them an hour and then apply another coat once this cures to extend your protection and increase the shine and gloss. It is definitely very shiny and glossy there. Anyhow, let's swap products now and get the one that looks like something unmentionable, and switch to the other side of the applicator pad and try this side. And what I did was I didn't quite come to the very center of the panel, so there should be a section which doesn't have any of this protection. We'll see how they compare when I get them wet later. I'm going to give them a good hour to cure. So they pop the lid off this one, give it a shake just in case, and alright, so we'll do the same thing again. 4 squirts onto here, fairly even, nicely misted. Let's go. Alright, that one felt, it might just be a trick of my mind, but it felt a little more draggy, a little more sticky feeling, if that makes sense. However, again, just like the other one, it's mostly flashed off. So we're going to very quickly go over now and buff it. There's a few bits of streaking left here, but it just comes straight off. And again, there's a change in the slickness. By wiping this over, I could feel suddenly it's smoother to wipe. Compare that to the center section. Let me go to a dry side, or a section that hasn't touched this stuff, and feel the difference. Feels kind of tacky there. I can feel it sticking and stopping, but over here it doesn't do it as much. If anything, this might sound weird, but I can hear the difference when wiping from one side, protected, across the unprotected center section and back over. You can hear the difference. You can hear the drag on the fibers of the towel. That's very interesting. However, both of these products were very easy to apply. Now, like I say, this one to me felt just a little bit stickier. That one didn't feel quite as sticky, felt a bit more smooth to apply. But I'm definitely seeing a little bit of a difference. It's very, very small, I mean barely. But if that is as easy as it's going to be for a product which will give you hopefully up to 6 months of protection. They state that around about 4 months you'll find that the slickness drops off. But still, 4 months of protection from something which is super easy to apply, and you know, I mean, the tiniest of sprays. That's a product which could go a long way and actually could be in fantastic value for money. They do say that they've used as high quality as they can manage of the ingredients in here, the SiO2 and things. So both of those, very easy to apply. Alright, I had to pick up another one of these because I put the other one down and I couldn't remember which side was which. I should have just used two. So to avoid cross-contamination, I've thrown it in the bin and I've picked up a brand new one. So we're going to use this. I should remember, hopefully this time. So I'm going to apply the Wii Type 1 to this side of the car, and it's going to be interesting to see if there's any difference in the application feel or anything, because all this side of the car has had is a wash. There's been no decontamination, no other preparation at all, just a wash. So we'll see how this goes. So, initial noticed, initial, what's the word? I can't remember. Initial thing, observation, there you go, is that it was tackier to apply to, but I could also hear the contaminants on the paint grabbing the fibers of this pad, whereas I couldn't hear anything on the bonnet because the bonnet was completely free of contaminants. So it was a little bit stickier. And I can't tell if it's just to do with the fact that that's been decontaminated or something else. I don't know. But I'll carry on and we'll see how it goes. I'll bring you across a little bit more. And also, they didn't mention glass. I don't remember them mentioning glass. I'm going to try it on glass, see how it works. I mean, I know there's already some protection there. But, yeah, you know, if you're testing something, you might as well test everything. Alright, next observation. You may have noticed there, I decided to go off-piste a little bit. And I was doing the piano black pillars there, the B-pillars. And also up around the top of the door frame there, down on the door, the mirror, the handle. It's hard doing this. And I left it for longer than the time that they suggest. You know, they say 30 to 60 seconds. And I did leave it for longer than that, and it's still buffed off very nicely and has left a very slick surface behind. I can tell the sections which have been, you know, decontaminated, and the sections that haven't, you can feel it. What's also interesting, applying it to that glass, the glass went very sticky feeling, really weird, sticky feeling, can't quite describe it, but the towel was dragging on it really hard. It doesn't look like there's any streaking or anything, but that may be a downside to it. Maybe that's why they don't mention anything about glass. Anyway, let's crack on up the back half of the car here now. Right there. Alright, there is a massive increase in gloss here. There is. I mean, you probably won't see it from here, but looking down the side of the car, let me see if I can bring you across here, and over the wall. Down there, that is some fabulous shine and reflection and gloss. It is just so shiny. It's fantastic. I mean, the other side of the car is clean. I haven't done anything to that side, and I don't know, it just doesn't look the same to me. It looks like it's definitely shiny, but it doesn't have that depth of gloss from what I can see with my eyes. It might look very similar to you on the video, but to me it just looks like the other side just has more gloss. It is super shiny. Anyway, I now need to try the other product on the other side. I'm also going to leave the back of the car without anything on it at all, although I did do that kind of spoiler bit there. But that's it. I'm not going to do anything on the back of the car. I want to try and get an idea, a feel for how it's going to behave. But let's move to the other side of the car now and use the other unmentionable type of product. Okay, I do think that does look glossier now. It does look like there has been an addition of gloss. However, it wasn't perfect. Let's go back to the other side just to have a look there. Still lovely shiny gloss. Let's pick this up. I'll have a walk across. Now, some of my observations were that I will be honest, this one, this milky kind, was a little bit streaky. It seemed to leave a bit of an oily film behind sometimes, but not every panel experienced that, so I can't explain it. But there was a slightly stickier feel to this when applying and removing, and there was a bit of a film that, yeah, it was more difficult to remove. This one, this is the clear one, this one was much smoother in comparison. Definitely much smoother. A great amount of gloss here, an absolutely fantastic amount of gloss, excellent reflection. This side was just a little bit easier to apply and easier to remove. You can see on the bonnet there, fantastic shine and reflection. We can see the clouds very easily there. It is just lovely. The other side again looks very, very good. I don't think I would be able to tell the two apart, but what was definitely a difference was the application. Not huge, not massive, but there was a difference in application. So still both do look incredibly glossy and shiny, but I think if I was to award one side a winner for looks, I think I have to go with this side. Again, it's going to be really hard to show up on camera, but it just seems that is the glossier side of the car. So yeah, there you go, but it still looks great. The car looks fantastic. So soon I will get out and give the bonnet a second coat of both, and we'll see what the water behavior is like after that, hopefully before it gets too dark. So stupid me, I thought I had pressed the record button, but I hadn't. That's handy. So I've just applied a second coat of this one, and it's been about 30 seconds, and I can actually see a line. I went across sideways and then up and down, cross hatch pattern, and I can see a line there which is slightly darker here than it is here, which is very interesting. So let's go ahead and buff that off, because that's been, now it's been about a minute. So let's go ahead and just remove this. Alright, what was interesting about that application was that the removal was a little bit more difficult this time. It was easier to come off after the first application. But the second application, I don't know if I put too much on. I did kind of load that up, but again, this pad has now become saturated with the product as I've gone down the side of the car. So, I mean, again, I've barely used any out of this. But yeah, it just seemed to not want to come off quite as easily. It certainly wasn't difficult, but it wasn't as easy. Anyway, let's switch over to the other milky one. Alright, so let me take you in and explain this. So I've just, there we go, I just finished applying the second coat here. This one, to apply the second coat, was just as easy, came out a little bit thicker, stayed on that panel just a little bit longer, but buffed off about as easy. Maybe just a tiny bit easier than the left side. Not by much, but there was a little bit of a difference. Just very, very small, very minute. However, what we have now is 2 coats of fantastic glossy stuff. Look at that color on there, look at the reflection. Just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And like I said, over on this side, here, let me do a bit of this. Lovely, lovely shiny gloss with no real paint preparation here other than washing the car, but it certainly has made a difference. Hang on, that's how cold it is here. That's snow foam which is frozen. That is frozen shampoo and snow foam. So there you go. Gives you the idea. So here I haven't done anything to the back of the car other than this piece here. But over here you can see it is also much more, in my opinion, much more shiny and glossy than when it first was cleaned. This has just added an extra level of shine and reflection. It is beautiful now, it really is fabulous. So it's going to be interesting to see what the water behavior is like. But as you can see, the sun is going down. So yeah, unfortunately, oh look at that, oh look at that, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just beautiful? So yeah, the sun's going down, and if I'm going to get some water behavior done, I'm going to have to get it done soon. I might go and drop Maz a message and ask him how long, if I've got to leave it the full hour before it gets wet, or if I can just go ahead and do it now, and then I will blow dry it with the blow dryer. Yeah, interesting. Alright, it's been about half an hour and the light is failing, but I have a trusty person here who's shivering profusely with my light. So what I'm going to do is spray water on half the bonnet and the other half will be kept dry. So the lower half is what's going to get water, just so that section, you know, can cure on its own nice and dry. So we're going to use the that shower setting there. So let's see. Sheeting. You can see the section that hasn't had any protection there at all. Let's throw some beads. So when you flood the panel, it sheets quite quickly there actually. Let's do that again. It's coming off in a nice uniform sheet, and it's leaving behind very little. And if it was raining, these are the beads you would get. Nice and quick. Let's go with the other side. Flood that section. Again, sheeting. Do you think that's a bit slower than the other side? I think it's a little bit slower than the other side. Okay, shrugging your shoulders, that's an answer, yeah. So here you go, there's a section in the middle that didn't have any protection on it. So that's that side. It does break up a little bit more there. See that? It doesn't just sit in a big solid sheet for long, it breaks into bits. Let's throw some beads. It behaves differently again. So, interesting. We've got a section which had nothing, so it's just holding on to the water. Well, that's right enough. And then the other two sides, you've got protection. Now again, it hasn't had the full 1 hour cure time. That's pretty good. In fact, if anything, the more water gets on it, the better it behaves with the water. This is very interesting. So there you go. I want to grab my air dryer now and see how easily the water comes off the panel. Okay, so let's see how the water gets blown off the panel now. Make sure I'm zoomed out, got everything in focus. Alright, so let's go high power. Alright, so that panel is practically dry, so it's certainly done something there, because when I tried to dry the car earlier with no protection on it, that water just stuck around. Let's go here. Alright, so that was fairly obvious, the sections of the panel which had protection, both sides here, and the center section which had nothing, which was just hanging onto that water, but the water was pushing off very quickly and easily, so that was great. I've also just had a message from Maz, who confirmed, saying, give it a try. It's not going to kill it, it will survive getting wet, but obviously the top half of the panels have been left dry, so they will be left to cure properly. The lower halves have been wet before the proper cure time. It might adversely affect the longevity, so you might knock a month off it, but you might not. But this is what happens when you have to test products. You get to see how they work, and you throw a spanner in the works and see how it's going to behave then. But so far we can see there's definite protection. It was definitely nice and easy to use. Alright, so, there we are, finished. Oh, getting to the light here, but oh, that's really harsh. Ugh, don't like that. There we go, bit better. Right, so, what did I think of these two products? Let's come back over here, here they are. So, giving the testing that I've done, and you'll know that when I test products, I don't just test them the way you're told to test them. I don't just use products the way the instructions tell you to use them. I like to throw a spanner in the works. I like to be a bit different. So as you saw from using these two products, I followed the instructions as far as the bonnet was concerned. I didn't follow the instructions as far as the sides of the car were concerned. And my initial reaction, my impressions so far, are that the clear one here, the semi-see-through one, that one is a little bit easier to apply, a little bit easier to buff off, apart from the second coat, which was interesting, but gave just a tiny bit extra gloss, in my opinion. The other one, the milky one, still a good product, wasn't as easy to remove, it wasn't as difficult to remove after the second coating on the bonnet, so that was interesting. Now who knows, I don't know which one has more SiO2. Do they have different carriers? Is that why they're different? But you can see how much I used. You know, these were almost full, but that's two coatings on half the bonnet each, and also full one side down the side of the car. So there's loads there. So even if they supplied them in this size of bottles, it would still be cost effective, because you'd get many applications out of that. They did spread very far, very well actually, so I was pleased with that. Anyway, there you go, that's the story. I will be feeding back my my observations and my opinions to Maz and Rog, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens as far as the final product goes. I think they said that they're about 90% there with which one. I think they're 90% certain which product they're going to go with, or which iteration of these two prototypes that they're going to go with. But I'll give them my information, my observations and my opinions, and they can use that or ignore it. You know, that's the whole idea. I test it and I'll tell them what they want, you know, what information I can give them. If you also want to find out someone else's opinion, these were sent also to Paul Dolden of the Paul Dolden Details channel, and Martin of the Obsessive Car detailer channel, OCD. So go and check out. In fact, he's already made a couple of videos. So go ahead and check out Martin's channel. Tell him I sent you, and tell him he's old. But yeah, go and see what he's got to do, what he thinks of his, because his opinions may be different to mine. I won't give any spoilers. I don't know if Paul has got around to testing his yet, but check in on his channel just in case anyway, and subscribe to both of those guys, and subscribe to me if you haven't already, and smash the like button if you haven't already done so. And I've been Specky, and this is a vlog type video, and I don't know what to do about signing off. How do I sign off on a vlog? I guess I'm just going to say bye.